What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 7 of my Total War Warhammer 3, Settra, the Great King, the Imperishable, Khemri Kara, the Great King of Nehekara, King of Kings, Opener of the Way, and many, many more campaign. So as we saw last time, we have at last confederated High Queen Khalida and gotten the Libaras capital with her, as well as the Alabaster Tower here, but not too much in the way of territory. She was not doing all that well compared to some of the other factions, but that's fine. We'll just retake it. I'm sure she'll enjoy the fighting. Now, of course, the Confederation of Khalida means now that we are at 8 out of 7 in terms of our active lords, so we will need to research or unlock 2 more dynasties in order to get another army on field, which is again why I wanted to wait to confederate Khalida for when we had those additional armies on field. Clearly, with all of the enemies on our borders, Bretonnians declaring war on us as part of their crusades and all that, we're going to need all the extra units that we can get. Chaos near us, the lizards not vassalizable and thus have to be destroyed as well, so, you know, a lots to do. Anyway, I believe we are in, if not quite a new turn, somewhere there. I stopped, oh right, with Cetra, because we cannot attack the Burning Face camp here without forcing the Clan Claw to redeclare war on us and then our reliability to drop. Thus, what we're going to do is this. We're going to... Alright, actually, I don't know if this will work. Wait. Break defensive alliance with Clan Claw. 2.8. Ooh, we could threaten them into it, but oh wait, that would also tank our reliability. Damn you, game. I actually think that's a little bit silly, the threaten tanking your reliability. I mean, I don't see why threatening and potentially enemy faction would tank your reliability with factions that you've been in a good ally with everywhere else, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to declare war on the Agents of the Moon instead, and oh, that'll do it. Good. I figured that even if this did work and we could pay them to do this, we could immediately then possibly peace out with the Agents of the Moon, because declaring war on them will give us a vision of them, which we didn't have until now, which we wanted. So we'll do this. Like so. Then we'll talk immediately to the Agents of the Moon, who... Okay, we are not visible. How do I get to them? Here. Agents of the Moon. We do not want peace, but you're at war with a bunch of factions. What if we then declare war on the Burning Face? 0.3. Oh, we're just a tiny bit short of the cash. Out of curiosity, how much money would you want for this? Oh, we're like a couple gold short. Okay, wait. We just need a tiny bit of gold. Anybody that we want to trade with? How much money do you have for us? 124. Is that enough? You're gonna be dead soon anyway. Yeah, why not? Let's try this. Wait, you know what? Do this as well. There you go. 248 gold. Now we'll talk to the Agents of the Moon. All right. Hey. It's all according to plan. Trust me. Wait, I misclicked. My bad. All right, back here. Oh, I keep looking to trying to look to the territory where the Agents of the Moon are located. Now we join war against against the Burning Face, and give them 523 gold, and thereby giving us the peace treaty with them. Perfect. Now we're at -33 to vassalize, and if we attack and take this territory, who we are now at war with, we should be able to get the vassalization as well as our money back. Alright, close victory, medium okay, yeah, this is not worth fighting. Auto-resolve this. But not... Okay, of course it damaged just to an insane degree, but, you know, I'm kind of used to it. Occupy. Then... Hey! Oh, I guess there is a good reason to periodically do the auto-resolves, because, well, if we can get all the way through Wades through Gore, and the plus 20% HP, it'd be really strong on Cetra. Then, we leave the settlement. Construction, hello, Charnel Valley Necrotech, construction cost minus 10% for infrastructure buildings. Now, that's a question, does it only count these? Because these are really cheap anyway, minus the treasure tomb. I wonder if Ancient Kingdom counts as infrastructure. And a curiosity, this is 2.4k. If we give you the Charnel Valley Necrotect out of ancillaries, is it going to have any effect on it? Yeah, it's not. 2.4k, so it's only these. Well, the treasure tomb is a significant reduction, so if we do have a spare lord that can be there, then we'll use them. Ugh, frickin' Nurglite Plague. Anyway, now we are going to... Did we get vision of them now? Yes, we did. Okay, now we are going to trade you. What was this place called? The Burning Face Camp. Like so. And Foz Column. I guess they own some settlements down here, a little bit in the desert, but what can you do? We should still be able to, in theory, trade them all from them for desert territories, mountain territory, so that we have somebody holding all this yellow territory, because I don't want to deal with it. So yeah, Burning Face Camp, you become our vassal, you give us a trade agreement, you give us all your money. 2k, admittedly not much money, but, well, that's tribute to the king, so yes. Agreed. Like so, and there we go, we got our first vassal, hey. Oh, that worked out better than I thought it would, I'm happy. Now, oh, your capital's under threat. Oh, I don't like that. Oh. Baskak the Wise, you've got a war going too. Well, hopefully, Judge Judy can defend this. And she's got a pretty solid garrison. Orcs might actually bypass us and go south to Foz Column, which we actually do want because of the presence of the obsidian. Though on the other hand, they do have the alchemist tower here. This, yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that we want from the Cathan roster, so and get them a little bit more territory as we go. But anyway, I wanted money for something. Oh, you know what I wanted money for? You know who needs necrotex? Khalida needs necrotex, and frankly, we should get some more. Lich priests as well. Alright, fine. We'll unlock a new necrotect right now, and then we'll mill them, because Khalida will need to be able to repair her constructs, so we'll delete you, we'll delete you, or the intelligent one, immediately, like so, and then hopefully we get one of the ones we want next turn. All this milling. And frankly, we do want more of these guys, but we need to unlock them first. And to do so, not to worry, Mr. Hakor, you may be severely damaged from the last fight, but not so severely damaged that you can't fight for a Skull Reef. And away we go, raid the cove. And we've got, okay, only one big boy this time, the Rotting Leviathan, a little bit in the way of artillery and piles of a depth guard again, so we'll have to be careful with our Nehekara warriors / Hawk Legion, and it should be good to go. Let's do it. Alrighty, here we go, last of these islands, but always a nice pickup. We need the money, and, we have had, I guess, a nice little stint against the Vampire Coast here, or against the Islander Vampire Coast, so I might as well enjoy it one last time. Anyway, we are damaged, so we will have to be a little bit more careful in the way that we fight this fight as compared to previous fights, but as usual, we will begin with bombarding the enemy army with our artillery. The casket can reach the enemy artillery, whereas let's see, I think 2 of those projectiles hit. That's not horrible. Ooh, enemies got massively increased accuracy on the carronades while they're firing away at us as well. Good for them. We've also moved our Mage Priest, or Lich High Priest rather, forward in order to cast a Skullstorm. Non-overcast because the enemy isn't blobbed up enough to warrant it. Just into some units, specifically trying to damage as much as we can the zombie pirate gunnery mob with hand cannons, as they're relatively threatening. Otherwise, we are attacking the depth guard as much as we can with our 2 units of the Screaming Skull catapults. And yeah, it does look like it's them that is applying take cover, which is interesting. Should come in handy in future armies, and I gotta remember that we should thus probably keep any army that is a little bit range focused, having enough of these Screaming Skull catapults to debuff the enemy. And once again, for the 50th time, I love these fights in the desert. Everything is so gloriously visible. We can see the armies clash in proper order. Anyway, enemy army is nearly here. Some heavy damage to at least some units. The hand cannon mob is destroyed, and it looks like the artillery are about to follow suit, though admittedly the mortar's been doing okay in terms of its damage. 3.5k to one of our infantry units. Here come the Storm Riders of Xar, looking fantastic as they do on the charge. 57 melee attack, pretty solid. And they have actually fairly decent HP for what they are. I mean, they are a regiment of renown. And, ooh, looks like the Sphinx here, the Necro Sphinx, takes a massive amount of damage as it gets focused down by all the enemy range units, but goes for the enemy Lord as we have, well, our own Lord unable to duel. Now, well, hopefully the Sphinx can tank those attacks while we continue engaging all of the other enemies and doing a little bit of the old rock, paper, scissors here. Rather than allowing the depth guard with twin axes to smash into the basic Nehekaran warriors, we peeled them away to fight the pole arms, which goes in our favor. And here we left the depth guard with twin axes, who have no anti-large and are not armor piercing, or at least not very armor piercing, to fight the Ushabti, which again is very much in our favor. Usually the units of Ushabti in this army move together with the units of Nehekar warriors, but with our units damaged, we had to spread the army out a little bit more than we previously would have. On the bright side, I believe the enemy lord has now been killed off by the Sphinx, and the Ushabti have nearly obliterated this unit of depth guard while taking comparatively little damage. And keep in mind, they should have a Necrotect with them, but here they don't, so worked pretty well for us. Lovely. Otherwise, a few more blasts of our artillery, and it looks like most of the enemy army is beginning to melt away. The other unit of Ushabti and Nehekaran warriors here working together to protect the Ushabti from the depth guard with polearms and, well, frankly, both polearm units. That's a nice little combo, though. The depth guard with polearms and the zombie pirate deckhand mod with polearms. Good for them. Not good enough to deal with the Ushabti, mind you, but good enough for something. Ooh, that looked painful. Not that the zombie could say anything about it, and we were also able to keep the Rotting Leviathan from doing anything this particular battle, as one of the Nehekaran horsemen were essentially riding around it, preventing it from going anywhere. So this time, the big boy was of no threat whatsoever. Admittedly, the Sphinx could have taken care of it this time around, but it was busy killing off the enemy lord. Last of the skulls smash into the little Rotting Leviathan, and with that, the battle is ours, and now one of the zombies goes flying off. Several of the zombies go flying off. Fantastic. Alright, there we go. Not bad at all. 88 losses, pretty minor. Damage to the Necrosphinx, admittedly, and I still haven't decided whether we're going to keep this Necrosphinx in this particular army, simply because, once again, the Hyro Titan shares the skill tree with the Ushabti, whereas the Necrosphinx doesn't share a skill tree with anything in this particular army, so, yeah, no. But I will, we'll see. I'll think about it. Otherwise, we got 10,000 damage on the Wardens of Jet, which did pretty well, and 10,000 on one of the unnamed Nehekaran warriors. 16,000 on the Dune Dervishes, and nobody named the Nehekar horsemen. Well, one of them did well as well with about 10k on him. Let's name the Nehekar warriors at least. In fact, maybe we should do so right now. Bind souls or take the money? I'm going to say take the money. Take more money. And just hope that Nikai doesn't attack us. Alright, there we go. We got a scroll of leeching, which we don't need, and will hopefully turn into something a little bit more useful, as well as that 10k, which we were here for. Now, you are ready to return to our own territory. I mean, we do still need to fight Zandri, but they're actually pretty happy with us right now, and I think we can deal with them a little bit later. While I do want the Zandri Black Shields, it's not the biggest of issues. I do really want the hero capacity +1 for all heroes, though. That remains the case, but we're busy right now. We'll deal with it soon. Oh, in fact, one of you needs to go down here to knock out the great statue of Digijaf in order to... Oh, that'll find this sort of change as well, so we'll have to immediately start fighting Zinch. Well, nonetheless, gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, we got the money. Let's move everybody else around, but then, after we're done doing so, I'm going to spend a little bit of that money on unlocking a few more heroes. I just once again want to... Castleforge Steel, please. I want to take advantage of the 2 turns remaining of the secrets revealed and get the additional recruit ranks on them. Are you able to land and attack Numas right now? I think you are. I guess the question is... Wait, is this an island? No, it just looks like one. I guess the question is whether we want to wait the turn here, which might be the case. Let's wait one more turn. A little bit of extra time before we attack Kugath, especially since we're going to want to send Cetra north to deal with the remnants of the Burning Face to make sure our little vassal here is in better shape. I wonder, are any of these capital territories? No, they're not because of the Gate of the Stars. I was just wondering whether they'd take any of them for these, but all good. We shall see. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move now. We've got King Thutep, which is... I mean, these guys are here. They might go for walkout, but they might not. Let's keep Thutep nearby still, like so at Carrion Nest. And I think I've decided what I'm going to do with this army temporarily, and that's essentially use the army, or sort of build up the army to function like the eventual army of Alcazar II, which buffs ranged chariots, so Tombbarks and ranged chariots, which will function differently than Cetra's chariots, since there's a second chariot lord. And that means the Nehekara horsemen here can be replaced by Tombbarks. And I don't know whether we'll bother keeping the artillery, but we might, we'll see. For now, though, you can use the army in its current state to level up. Ketaskaf and Intef, neither of you, I believe, need to... Well, actually, Intef needs to move up here to Lamia. And Prince Scout the First is going to go, I don't know, up here, find some stuff. Already allied with these guys. Gonna find Vlad now. How does Vlad feel about us? Not great. Not great. He does not like the treaties with the Legion of Setep. Well, if they destroy them, then they destroy them. I don't really care. Anyway, Ketaskaf is fine, and now let's pick up a few heroes. Lich Priest. Apparently we've acquired spices, so we should probably... have we acquired spices? Wait, can you get these through trade agreements? Because if you can, that's probably how we did it, because I don't think we have spices anywhere. We're not trading with anybody with obsidian? But we are trading with... Okay, maybe you can't do that, because we're trading with our new vassal, unless it only activates next turn. I don't know, whatever. A new servant. Let's get a Lich Priest. Like so. We'll do a couple. And another one. Like so. Alright, now I just want to take a look at what we've got in terms of having these guys. So you have your Lich Priest. You do not, right? King Thutep? You do not. Alright, so we'll grab a Lich Priest of Nehekara. We have a Mortuary Cultist. I'd prefer the Healing Potion variant, but this isn't too bad either. Cooldown to spells, and I'm not so sure. I mean, we can always mill it further if we find another one, but again, the levels. Yeah. For the armies that will only have one Lich Priest, it'll always be the Lore of Nehekara, but armies that have multiple will have the other lores. Anyway, we want Keeper of Lore immediately for the research rate. We want Disciple of Assyrian for the summons of a free skeletons, obviously the Canopic Jar Hoarder, and then Restless Dead and Nerus. Lovely. Alright, and that's the only one that we can get up and running right now? Yes, unless we get another one. Though there are no Nehekaran ones remaining, so I guess we could always do that next turn. Alright, fair enough. And wait, we do need more Necrotects for Khalida. In fact, she'll probably need 2, but she doesn't have the type that she wants. Which is the X5 type, so yeah, we're gonna wait on that. Let us see then instead if there's any buildings that we can still be building, like here, for example. What about Key of Seftu? Upgraded to a mausoleum level. And we can't build anything. Well, I guess we can build the money building here. Undead Quarryman here. We can do the Potter's Hut here. We can also do the Undead Quarryman. Lovely. And this place can start collecting money. That's 0, so it's fine, I think. Granted, that'll reduce the growth, but we'll fix it. It'll be fine. Nobody panic. City of Scholars. What do we have here? We are going to be... Oh, Lord. The yellow climate is going to make a problem for Khalida, or gonna be a problem for Khalida in terms of actually getting stuff up and running, but oh well. She'll get there. Upper Ash River, what do we have here? Upgrade a Pyramidion, maybe? I could wait this out, but there are Pyramidions that still need to be constructed, and I feel like we may as well build them. Alright, I believe that's it. Alright, good enough. And nobody else to move, unless I'm mistaken. I did say I wanted to name a couple of those Nehekaran warriors. They've been with us for a while now, the regular twin blade types. Let's do... What do we have here? Nehekara warriors. You can be spooky... Ooh, wait. You know what? You can be coarse sand corset... Coarse stand? What are you doing, Ruinous? Coarse sand corsairs. And you can be dead arc corsairs as well. Perfect. All right, that works very nicely for these guys because I mean, we gathered all of these Skull Islands and such with this particular army. I think that's nice. I like it. I like the Twin Blade Corsairs. Anyway, we'll do other stuff after. Let's, I believe, end the turn now. Building upgrade available. Hero not moved. We know those. End turn. See if anybody attacks. Wild Hunt begins. A little bit far from us, so not a problem. Another plague. Ooh, hello. What do we have here? Cloak of Dunes. Unspottable in stock. Melee attack when fighting in desert terrain. That's probably going to go to the desert guy. Immunity to desert attrition. All units in army. Yeah, alright. And Savage below. Alright, I saw the Cloak of the Dunes thing already. Good, and Khemri upgraded to the final tier. Will this increase our tomb bark capacity? It will, meaning we should probably prioritize it. It'll also make more money, which is pretty good. Alright, we'll do that. We should upgrade the Grand Pyramid, although we'll see how much money we have remaining after we do stuff, TM. Anyway, we are proceeding to the Blood Peak Stronghold, which we can reach by the looks of it in 2 turns. Are we still able to heal in enemy territory? I think we are, but not by much, yeah. It's alright though, we gotta get to these guys anyway. And us being damaged isn't going to make much of a difference. Admittedly, they have better garrison here and all that, but, well, we gotta give these territories to our vassals before we fight everywhere else. Maybe King Fogtum can sort of see Kugath off. We should also soon break the trade agreement with the ogres, as we will be looking to wipe them out as well. But anyway, Panet. You were waiting until we have an army down here, because if they attack these guys, then it'll be an issue, meaning you can just sit in raiding stance and annoy these guys for a little while. Get a little bit of free XP while you're at it, why not, right? Alright. I don't know if the... Well, actually, well, 7 units should be a sufficient melee line, I hope. Still gonna be difficult to activate that Realm of Souls. Oh. Might want to put a second priest in here. Yeah, you're a Lich High Priest, but we'll see. Fogtum, you're about to attack. In fact, you could just auto-resolve this, can't you? Numas. Okay, so Foxmakers, Strength rank 26, doing pretty good. And fighting the Red Shield. They're in these mountains as well, probably busy with it. We will attack them. Like so. Then, Mr. Fogtum will land here immediately. Hopefully this isn't screwy. Yes. Then we will auto-resolve it. Really? Close victory? Okay, well, whatever. Yeah. Oh, another Banner of the Hidden Dead. That's nice. Attribute stock in Vanguard deployment. That's real nice. We will raise the place. Like so. You will not have the Banner of the Hidden Dead. I have uses for this. Actually, are we able to manufacture these, or are we only able to find them? Ooh, hello. Acolyte of Sok. You are going to... go to this fella. At least for now. Akash. There we go. A little bit of extra money out of Khemri itself. Now we're getting all these new ancillaries. I would like you to go to Numas and colonize those ruins. You didn't move so far away from them, but either way. Tier 3, beautiful. Don't collect the income as yet, but do build up the port. I would like... Oh, we can't do it because it needs growth to get the Pyramid of Prince Tutankhamun. Now, out of curiosity... this pyramid, what will it enable us to do? So I think that's okay. This is Alcatazar, this is Katep, this is Amenemnetem, this is Far, this is Tutankhamun. So, Nightmares manifest, an explosion for sphinxes, so necrosphinxes, a vortex for bone giants, a... more power recharge, that's nice. Passive ability as well. And physical missile resistances for the Hyro Titan, and then another explosion for the casket if it gets charged by something. This one probably not the most useful, but the others will be nice, I'm sure. Alright, good stuff. Hero activity, summon receives plague, I know, game, I know. And that reduces our necrotech capacity by 1. Necrotech check. What do we got? Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Another intelligent one. Game, you're starting to annoy me with these necrotechs. Now we're looking for 2 different types, and we're not getting the type that we want. And oh, is this the last turn of the... Yeah, that was the last turn of the higher ranks for the necrotechs. Ugh. Alright, well, what about you guys? We got a Wise Lich Priest. We could get you on field. You don't really do much otherwise. Yeah, I guess we'll just wait. All good. I mean, at the end of the day, 4 levels aren't anything crazy. Anyway, Khalida, it's gonna take a long time to build up your Necro Serpent nest here. I fear that it would probably be faster just conquer everything here with what you have and then simply build them at the first desert you come across, especially since we can't have somebody else do it for you here. Yeah, one more turn of construction or recruitment, and oh, we have another local recruitment capacity. I'm wondering if we should temporarily put the Chosen of the Gods in your army, because we don't really have time to recruit, and we just gotta, you know, get busy. Probably the way to do it. The other reason I believe we left 2 spaces was for the 2 necrotechs that are supposed to be in this army. We'd have to delete somebody here. But anyway, we'll deal with that as we go. I could do a pertinacious one with Cetra instead of the one that he currently has, in theory, but we'd have to transfer this to somebody else's army, which we're kind of far away from, so... maybe we'll wait. Anyway, Hakor, you've got places to be in. Ah, I see these guys have not moved away. Now, are you able to reach the... oh, wow, what the heck is this? You can barely move out of there. Fair enough. I guess don't set up raiding stance. Just start slowly marching your way forward. I think it's because our movement speed range was crippled by by landing here. Huh. We could attack with both of the armies together. You could land. And this way we'd immediately heal because you'd be able to... yeah, you know what, let's do that. If we could immediately heal, that would be great. Oh, you can reach us now. But then you'd have to reach us together, and good luck with that. I wonder if they'd be willing to fight. Also, Lord Croak is kind of making me nervous, but anyway. We'll see. What do we have here? King Thutep. You could also, in theory, go over there as well. Oh, yes, you're supposed to gain to Thutep's army. Thutep, you're just going to sit here for a little bit in Carrion Nest, or actually near Carrion Nest. I'd like you to... where's the other... oh, I wonder if we could send you out to Salt Plain to grab that. And we can't really leave Carrion Nest yet. So go here. We'll see next turn what these guys do, and then see if we need to move forward. And then go back as needed. Alright, the rest of this looks good. We have scouts to move, but otherwise we're pretty much done. You have also scouted what we needed to scout here, so go out to sea, go find Mr. Imric. See if we can't get a couple dragons. Intef, you are supposed to sit outside of Lamia in order to get it up to tier 3 immediately upon conquest, assuming that it isn't... let me just see here. Oh, it's a tier 4. We could take it at tier 3 anyway. I mean, granted, we could raise it, but maybe there isn't as much of a use to do that. We could send you instead down to Qatar for when we take it for ourselves, though. When's the next one of these coming up? Oh, in 11 turns. But admittedly, they do spawn on Cetra, so they'd have to travel a fair bit. Maybe we should just start for you traveling down there. Alright, go down there then. It'll be a bit before Khalida comes here, and since Lamia can be taken to tier 4, it doesn't matter. Alright, now, Prince Psamtik, you are providing additional public order and scouting services for us. And go out here, see if you can't find Kugeth himself. Alright, so all of these mountainous territories that we don't necessarily want to deal with. Although, funnily enough, well, the control reduction is kind of... I was about to say the... and we could actually deal with the mountainous territories and yellow territories in general, because we can counteract the construction time reduction at the very least. The control's a little bit more annoying, though. Anyway, you find other trading partners, potentially, and go up to Karl, and then maybe northward to Kislev as well. Right now, we can't vassalize them, but potentially eventually. And I believe that's it. Alright, so we got buildings to be building, and once again, we start with the money-making ones. Until we're done with the rest, like you. Refurbished workshop. And, okay, we should probably build the fitted pyramidion here, but otherwise, could upgrade you. Not that expensive. Let's do you. Maybe the pyramidions and the construction cost ones, or at least the level 2 pyramidions. And anywhere where they have 2 buildings potentially to be built up. You're a tier 1, so yeah, you can be upgraded to tier 2, and you can be upgraded to tier 2. Why the heck not? All good. Besides, the Pyramidians also increase our money faction-wide, so yeah, they're probably making us money just as much as the Memorial Masons are, so there it is. Let's go with you, I guess. You're expensive, but whatever. Key of Sef 2. Oh, I guess we can't build a Pyramidion here, or at the very least there isn't a point. I guess we could do a treasure tomb here, when we can afford it, which is not now. You can be upgraded, Memorial Masons. We'll get rid of the Necro Nest in a bit. For now, though, I think we're okay. And you know what? Actually, hold off, because I'd like to upgrade the Mausoleum. Let's upgrade the port instead for more tomb bark capacity, since we've been using them a fair bit. You can get the Undead Quarrymen at... Oh, actually, no, I lied. Amsus charge, this place is going to be a military province, so just hold off on that for now. This place is fine for now. We're going to delete some of these buildings, but I'd like the ability to recruit everything. Valley of Locust. Valley of Cetra. And let's see. This is also another place for one of those, so you know what? Just leave it as it is for now. We got other things to be built. Tombs of the Four Pillars. Let us upgrade the Guardians of the Tarn. And then here... we can, I guess, upgrade the Fated Pyramidion, though this will be better maybe upgraded to a tier 2 first, so maybe we'll leave it alone. Alright, the rest of that looks good. Including Numas, well, yeah, there's nothing to build in Numas until we get the Pyramidion and the, well, Pyramid. So yeah, leave it alone. Alright, good enough. Neither one of you want to collect money, do you? -4. That's actually not so bad. Just keep the Swamp of Terror for now. What about this place? Let it grow a little bit until it's nearly maxed out. Skip, and turn. Hey, what do we have here? Looks like they will indeed take the opportunity to attack Hakor. I gotta say, I was not expecting that at all, because I don't think they have a chance here, but, well, more power to them for actually trying, I suppose. Before we get started, the engagement threshold remains at 400 likes and 60 comments. The next episode will be an hour adjacent, hour-ish, whatever, long as well, and, of course, the length of the campaign is determined by engagement as well. Anyway, should be fun. Big old pile of Bretonnians, so it looks like we'll be fighting a fair few of them before we move on to lizards and other things. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Looks like we have a choke point battle here, which actually works pretty well for us. Otherwise, Hakor, with his army being pretty heavily damaged, would be all the way back here, wherein our reinforcements could move in to help rapidly, but it looks like we won't be needing that. We will simply block the choke points off and then sit here until the enemy moves on in. Similarly, because it's a choke point and the enemy has no flyers to rely upon, for once we can put the heavily armed, or reasonably heavily armed, I should say, Golden Host of Mahrok in to act as a defensive unit. They're our slowest infantry unit in this army and usually guards the casket as its honor guard, since for whatever reason, like I said, the game decided not to put the guardians of the casket with it. But oh well. Speaking of the casket, it is the only thing in range all the way from back here, and so we will continue firing away at the enemy, giving it the Job's Incantation of Cursed Blades, because that spell is useful everywhere, and firing at the enemy and applying Bleed 2-3 with a single shot. A little bit of extra trickle damage on top of the casket's damage. It's pretty nice. We could also probably pop the Tra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting to buff up its damage. However, I feel like it's probably not necessary, as it's a fairly costly spell. And we could get 2 uses out of the Joff's Incantation of Cursed Blades as opposed to the 1 of that, so I'm not entirely sure it's worth it against infantry. Or at least not yet. Maybe when the enemy starts to close and maybe starts to blob up a little bit more. Anyway, looks like the unit of Peasant Bowmen had a bad time. We're up to already 131 kills and 18,000 damage on the casket, but these things have always been pretty fantastic artillery pieces. Not to the degree of the nastiest artillery pieces in the game, perhaps, like the Dreadquakes of the Chaos Dwarfs, but still pretty darn nice. And they do have that, that arcing shot of theirs, which is really nice as well, since so we can bombard anywhere. Plus the insane range is great too. It's a great artillery piece. Anyway, it'll keep on firing, and ooh, looks like the first of the enemy has drawn close to a few screaming skulls to the face, or that looks like a ranging shot, just short of the enemy. Fair enough. And wouldn't you know it, the Tomb Kings have way more skulls where that came from. And gonna knock down, looks like a couple of knights and a couple of mounted yeomen, but we'll follow up with more artillery fire as the enemy continues to approach that choke point, and our reinforcements have arrived on field as well, which means we can use the horse archers to actually provide range fire support, and the sepulchral stalkers as well for once the enemy is blobbed up. The longer they take to get towards our main line, however, the more time we have to bombard them, so they're sort of damned if they do, damned if they don't. Alright, first of the enemy units arrives, and it is a paladin taking a little bit of range damage. Gotta be careful about our own units, especially Spokal Stalkers, hurting our other units, but all good. It looks like the Mounted Yeomen and Knights will crash into our lines. Fortunately, behind the Doom Dervishes and the Hawk Legion of Cetra are the Wardens of Jet, and they should be able to mince the enemy with their armor-piercing damage. Gonna take a Wind Blast, I believe? 2 Wind Blasts in a row on the Doom Dervishes, who lose about 20% of their HP, so we'll pop off a spell just to get the Restless Dead up and running and get them a little bit of heals going. Alright, here come more enemies, but we can counter that with the old Skull Storm. Overcast now and in the way of several enemies. Probably only going to clip the enemy knights. In fact, I believe it was started here where we can see the pile of corpses started, and then it peeled away this way. Would have been better if it went this way, but it's all good as the enemy infantry still had a fairly bad day. And I wonder, that was the first damaging spells out of our lord. 318 kills and 39, nearly 40,000 damage. Warhammer 40,000 damage. I think that worked. Alright, and the enemy continues blobbing up for our artillery fire. Very, very nice. And of course, you gotta remember that the closer the enemy gets, the more accurate and the less spread comes in from the Casket of Souls, which will work out fairly nicely in terms of delivering massive amounts of damage. Alright, and the balance of power is very much in our favor. Our Tomb Guard is slow, certainly, to get here, have finally arrived, and are going to bolster the lines of the Nehekara warriors to make sure that the enemy can't get through. The enemy also can't use their mass to charge through them because of all the anti-large halberds of the Sepulchral Stalkers and the mass of the Tomb Bark and the Ushabti. It's nice to fight in the water and with the reeds and the sand and everywhere. It's very thematic, I think. And with the Tomb Bark here, usually hovering over sand, but can hover over water just as well, I guess. Although, speaking of the Tomb Bark, it is taking a little bit of range fire as the enemies, once again, and as always, have that tendency to focus them down. We're going to pop off a Skull Storm in the middle of the water this time. Again, overcast and dishing out even more damage to the enemy. And bringing Hakur up to 800 kills and 100,000 damage from 2 spells. Gotta love those Skull Storms, or really any vortexes in a choke point. Anyway, the enemy keep charging in. We've even got some of the elite questing knights here. Will they be good enough to deal with the Ushabti and the Necrosphinx and whatnot? Somehow I have my doubts. The choke point definitely worked out massively in our favor here. I was expecting a field battle here, but this is quite nice as well, especially since, surprisingly or not, we haven't had too many choke point battles in this particular campaign. Had a few with the Wakhoff's army, where he used his Spokal Stalkers, but otherwise not really. Anyway, the enemies have failed to make their way even a slight bit uphill. And it looks like soon the rest of them will shatter. The balance of power is at 90-95% in our favor, and I think it's time to move forward. The Tomb Bark and the Ushabti, and well, from pretty much everybody, are going to start moving. Meet all those Knights of the Realm in combat in the water, and cut down as many of them as we can before the entire army shatters. Best to break apart to the Knights in particular, as obviously once they start running, they will no doubt escape, or at least what remains of them. And that said, they're not going to have a good time against those Spokal Stalkers, and while the enemy infantry will probably block us off at least somewhat, the Stalkers can just charge right through and continue on. And of course, the artillery continues their bombardment, though it looks like it won't be needed for too much longer. The Necrotect has also healed the Necrosphinx a little bit. And it certainly helped against some of the Knights and Mounted Yeomen, but yeah, there's a lot of anti-large available to us here between the Necrosphinx and the Sepulchral Stalkers, between the two armies. Solid potential for a combination in a different army, though. Get a few Necrosphinxes and a few Sepulchral Stalkers to cover the anti-large, and then do anti-infantry units like Tomb Guard. Kind of the opposite of what we did with our Scorpion army, where it was all Tomb Guards with halberds for anti-large, and then the Tomb Scorpions with their big pile of anti-infantry. Anyway, with that, the battle is just about done. There's a few enemies that are just, I don't know, waiting around, but I think they're waiting because the army losses are there, and the last little bits of their leadership will drop, and with that, the army will shatter and the battle is ours. Too many units moving at the same time. You can see the sort of lag in their movements. There we go, stopping on occasion. But yeah, I guess my PC's a little bit old, so it can't really quite handle that. But hey, the battle itself looked pretty okay, so I'm happy. Alrighty, there we go. Went pretty darn well in our favor, and oh, I guess we could take the opportunity to heal up. Yeah, it's a decent bit of money, but although the campaign movement range might enable us to actually hit the enemy settlement immediately, even if we aren't at full HP. There's potential for that as well. Alright, fine, let's risk it. I'll take the Endless March and the money. Otherwise, 801 kills and 100,000 damage for Hakor. A Skullstorm overcast into a choke point is always a bad time for those trying to break through that choke point. Of course, the army of Walkov did help out, though it looks like, I'd imagine with those Skullstorms, it wasn't really needed. Endless March. Hey, Flaming Scribes destroyed, huh? I was primarily building up the army of Khalida here because I was expecting to immediately have to fight the Flaming Scribes, but it looks like these guys did it for us. Out of curiosity. It's Volky himself here. Well, that's hard to say no to, I gotta say. Necrotech check? Oh, chip game. Please, why are you like this? Alrighty, well... delete you, and Agents of the Moon Construction. Oh yeah, we might as well build our outpost for the other, oh no, I didn't mean to finish you. Darn, I forgot about that. That does nothing for us. Well, the control, but dang. My bad. I forgot I was gonna not finish that up. Oh well. What can you do? Do we just let the plague go? I mean, it is only a Nurglite plague. It's not as big a deal as the frickin' Skaven plagues, so... I'm just not going to bother switching you. Anyway, what I was saying is, aside from this and the fact that it is going to happen, as in us fighting them, we have to make our way northward. Are they allied with these guys too? They are not allied. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting-er. And yeah, the reason I didn't want to finish it because now we went from 7 out of 8 to 8 out of 8, so we got absolutely nothing out of it other than the reduction in research rate. So we're going to continue building the Wisdom of the 5th Dynasty, and I'm going to try not to forget it this time. Construction costs for walls, citadel, and estate. I don't know what citadel and estate buildings are. Unless there are different types of walls. No. What the heck are citadels and estates? Public order, growth, income, estate, royal burial chamber. Oh, those are good. What about... okay, that was estate. What about citadel? It's not the main building, is it? No. Oh, it's this. It's the Bone Giant building. Okay, this one we care less about, but we definitely want the Nehekarn citadels everywhere because the... or not this one. The Royal Burial Chamber because the +5 cannot pick jars. And the other stuff's helpful too. Alright, fair enough. We can take the one turn to build this up. Proclamation of the 4th Dynasty then. Sepulchral Stalker capacity wouldn't be too bad a thing to have either. Now, are these guys anywhere close to us in order to potentially attack us? Doesn't look like it. They'd have to travel through a lot of territory, and I don't see them taking Libaras. So we may be able to take a couple of turns to recruit for Khalida. I'm almost tempted to uncollect the income here so that we can get the public order up and running faster and then just try to grow the place. Might be the thing to do. I wish there was one green territory here. Cross here, conquer a Mahrak and do that is a possibility, but anyway. Cetra, we're starting with you, as we always do. Blood Peak Stronghold is the way to go. Oh, we should actually check what's going on with the Bretonnians first. Ooh, you're so close to level 30 and that Sphinx that I've been hankering for. We should also... Oh, since the Bretonnians, or at least the Bretonnians over there, have been dealt with, maybe we should just make a delivery to Cetra. King Thotep, you, because your army is kind of similar to Cetra's, it doesn't really offer us anything new in terms of what we're going to do with it. I think maybe we'll use you to deliver to Cetra the elites that he's missing, the other Tomb Guard, the War Sphinx, and whatever else I wanted in there, I don't remember. Hakor and Wakaf. Okay, Wakaf, because Hakor's already damaged, I'm gonna have you kill off Miriam Morian here. Seriously, these guys were insane to actually attempt this attack. I don't know why they bothered. Auto-resolve? This better not damage us severely. No, okay. And we could go for Endless March again. It's not like there's any healing to be found here. Yeah, Endless March. Speed it up a little bit, and we're in range of these guys, so that should mean drawing out the enemy garrison. Now, if you go into regular stance, you are in range as well. So we'll pop you in right there. What level is this? We can take it to tier 4, pretty good. Another potential military province because it's only a 2-settlement province. And we are closing in on those barrier idols, but it will mean fighting the lizards, which also means we need to have an army here at the Key of Seftu, as we saw that Nikai was hanging around here. In fact, who are they fighting right now? The remnants of the Awakened and the Volkaz. Again, everybody's fighting the Volkaz, but they just won't go down. Well, credit to the little orcs. Or greenskins, I think it's a Gabo faction, in fact. Anyway, Wakaf, you were trying to get towards Strength of the First Dynasty to get your personal speed up and running. Otherwise, I don't care about the Skeleton Archer capacity +4. It's kind of a garbage trait. Oh, you have Stalkers, Horse Archers, and okay, so we have Petra and Asaf, which are the main things in this particular army. Neru is good for the generic ward save increase. The Walat does not help us. Magic item drop chance, okay, but it's not necessary right now. Melee attack when fighting in the desert for the Lord's army. We are in desert right now, which will help with the auto-resolvage, though I'm not so sure that this isn't more worth it just by virtue of walkout being able to close the distance faster. Nonetheless, if we are to potentially auto-resolve here, let us do Ksar the Faceless. Plus, I was going to do that first thing for Wakaf earlier anyway, since he's the desert guy. Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, increased mobility for you, Master Builder for you. We'll get additional capacities there, and otherwise are looking good. Here we have a Lich Priest, who will probably want to move towards that Skullstorm now that we have... Do we need Mortuary Cultist? It doesn't really do anything useful for us, does it? Yeah, let's go 1 point into... Actually, we have no... Well, actually, we do have some range here. You know what, nonetheless, we'll start with spamming Nerus first, because, I mean, we're not going to stop spamming Nerus. What does Vicious Curses do? Missile Strength +5 for Caskets of Souls, faction-wide. Oh my. I didn't know that it was faction-wide, but that's nice. That's real nice. Not that we'll ever have too many of those caskets. It's a shame we couldn't steal them from the other Tomb Kings. Anyway, Hakor, you are trying to move towards Resurrect. That is still the case. Your Hawk Legion is high enough level to benefit from Unfading Memory now, though. Additional speed and armor and missile resistance, and then Resurrect. Now, they move at 63 speed. Solid, solid. Moving at heavy cav speeds now. The others are a little bit slow. Well, these are slow because they're not rank 7 yet. And now we just need that frickin' Necrotech that'll offer us even more speed. If I can ever get one. Cross your appendages. Anyway, let's go kill you. Hopefully you were one of the ones that attacked so we can draw everybody out, and yes, indeed you are. There isn't much remaining here. I mean, we could fight it again, but frankly, with 2 armies, the enemies... Oh, actually, we have to, because Constructed Criticism will die. That's so rude. Alright, why not? I guess the enemy has a lot of knights and stuff, and this time Wakaf is in the lead, whereas previous it was Hakor in the lead, so, fight. Alright, what did he say? Curse them all? Fair enough. Anyway, here we go. Possible, well, round 2, it's certain, but possibly the last battle against Leofric's Fellowship, who have been having a pretty bad time after so foolishly deciding to declare war on us. As usual, the Sepulchral Stalkers are deployed in front of the Nehekaran Horsemen so that their anti-large halberds and charge resistance and charge reflection, I believe, as well. Yes, charge reflection. So that the knights fail to find any perches there. And gotta love that. It's a heck of a combo. And the unit of Knights Errant, I believe, here is destroy. The Mounted Yeomen are done on this tiny little, I don't know, like quarter of an army. Is pretty much a quarter of an army damaged from the previous battle, I should say. Alright. There is an enemy lord sticking around, though I'd wager not for long either, as our Sepulchral Stalkers and our Skeleton Horse Archers lay down a bit of fire. And the enemy lord is terrified and running, but it looks like the arrows will fell her, and never mind. I was going to try to catch them now, but it didn't quite work out. Alrighty. A bloody end for Homer Simpson. Tiny little reinforcement coming in here probably won't be of any kind of consequence, but we'll still use the Skeleton Horse Archers and Sepulchral Stalkers to deal with it. Might as well, because the other elements of the enemy army are going to have to deal with all of our Tomb Guard, as well as our now on-field reinforcing army. Alright, a little bit more work from those Skeleton Horse Archers then. Their missile strength is still pretty lackluster at only 29. It looks like there is a pretty severe limitation to the damage that you can get them to do. Like with other factions, with the Empire, for example, with the Dwarfs, or with the Elves, as with the Dark Elves, as just played recently, you can definitely get almost all of your range units up between 50 and 100 damage, but it looks like Tomb Kings don't really have the capability of being built to that degree in terms of their basic units. That's all good though, because we have a lot of ways to make them stronger in other ways. I wonder if that Sundering Armor banner will work on the archers. That might be nice as well. Yeah, really got to play around with those different banners. Anyway, the Mounted Yeoman Archers and the Foot Squires are the only things remaining, but that not for much longer as we continue pincushioning the Cav. And the Knights Errant will take a few more shotgun blasts as they try to rush towards us, but it looks like this army is pretty much done for as well. Solid counter to the Bretonnians, I gotta say, the Sepulchral Stalkers, but again, they're a solid counter to a lot of things. Anyway, looks like while we try to close the distance with the enemy Blessed Field Trebuchet newly arrived on field, the Storm Riders of the Kassar will get hit by the Knights of the Realm. Fortunately, we will surround them and then get a little bit of heals and buffs going with our other units. Or with our spell work, rather. Jop's Incantation of Cursed Blades and the, Neru's Incantation of Protection should allow the relatively weak units of Nehekaran Horsemen to still fight the Knights of the Realm. And we got even more help coming in as the Tomb Bark closes the distance, and here come the Ushabti as well. They may not be anti-large, but they still do plenty of armor-piercing work. And splash damage as well, though I don't know how effective that is against the cavalry here. Alright, otherwise the enemy's main line, their infantry have closed the distance and begin facing off against our Tomb Guard. It's the Great Swords of the Foot Squires versus the Sword and Board of our Tomb Guard on the main line. And it is a good thing that the enemy's infantry line decided to move towards our Tomb Guard rather than our still damaged from previous fights Nehekaran warriors. Alright, here we got a few battle pilgrims facing off against the Tomb Guard as well, but none of them are doing particularly well. And where the Knights decided to charge on in, the Questing Knights I should say, tier 4 unit, we counter them with our Necrosphinx. 33 kills and 6.7 thousand damage, and a little bit of help from the Eyes of the Desert, the only unit of Sepulchral Stalkers that didn't bother annihilating the other armies. Speaking of, all the other Sepulchral Stalkers and our fast movers in general, here they come to ensure that the enemy's destruction is absolute. A little bit late to the party, but they destroyed two other sort of mini armies, so they're pretty good here. And Besides, their arrows will help make sure that few, if any, enemies survive. Like this damsel here, who... Okay, guys, you're going to probably kill off a few of these storm riders there. But I guess worth it to make sure that the enemy hero is gone for good. Alright, let's not miss all the arrows. There we go. Oh, and you bring down one of the storm riders with him. But not to worry, the mortuary cult will simply bring him back up. And I guess for the Tomb Kings, thus, it's not such a bad thing, friendly fire. If you know that the mortuary cult, no matter how damaged your skeleton gets, or how many chunks your construct is in, can simply put them back together. Alrighty, there we go. That was absolutely brutal. The poor Bretonnians got obliterated there, and have very little in the way of units remaining. Some knights obviously managed to flee the battlefield. Perhaps unsurprisingly, but still all good. Solid work out of the Caskets of Souls as usual, and the Priest with 44,000 damage from Skullstorm or two, and not surprising. Wakuf's a sort of vanguard deployed unit, the Horse Archers and the Spokal Stalkers, also wiped out these two little armies before moving on to help against the other. Anyway, I guess we'll take the march again, because A, money, and B, we are not really getting much replenishment out of that anyway. Now, do you have siege attack? Wait, you don't have siege attacker, do you, Wakuf? I remember thinking that you should. Kind of disappointing that he himself does not. Which is a potential reason to get at least some other kind of monstrous unit in here. But anyway, I will hopefully remember that. You don't... Huh, actually. The potion of speed, I was like, wait a second. One of the big problems with Wakuf is that he doesn't have enough speed himself. Does he have? Yes, he does have over my dead body. So a little bit of extra speed out of that, plus the strength of the First Dynasty. Maybe. We get... Okay, no speed here. Oh. Well, we'll take, I guess, Master of Desert Warfare for now and grab the strength of the First Dynasty afterwards. Alright. Could also give him an artillery piece, but then I'm not sure what we'd replace. So Shapti Bodyguard, sure, why not? Hakor. You're then going to Teshert. And we should be able to occupy it. Nobody will die this time. I hope the damage isn't too severe, all things considered. A spotter's spyglass, so let's turn that into something else. There we go. Free tier 4. And we got a royal menagerie here already. We'll get rid of the royal barracks and the Ushabti. And I guess we can build the royal burial chamber immediately if we want to, but I guess we want to wait until we take the salt plain. Oh, these guys do have a little territory out here. I wasn't expecting that. I actually remember, I mean, now that I remember that it being there, yes, it is there, but anyway. Spotter Spyglass, lose that. Let us lose, I guess, the potion of speed in the Spotter Spyglass. Fuse into a crown of command. Not the most useful thing in the world. At least not here. Scroll of Leeching and Earthing Rod, both are fine, but let's see if we can get something better, like a Forbidden Rod, very much better. Spell Shield, and okay, these things we can't fuse. Oh, we got a sort of anti-heroes as well. I'm gonna pop that on one of the lords. Alright, Forbidden Rod, good. Hakor, good. Wakuf, you can move into Channeling Stance and then move... Oh, you didn't even need to do that, but whatever. Move past it. Somebody needs to take Salt Plain, and then we also need to push towards the Awakened, I guess. I mean, I'd love to leave them for the lizards to deal with, but for now, I guess we've not too much of a choice in the matter. Alright, you guys have done your job. Panat, you are stuck where you are until we're ready. Oh, the orcs have moved their main army away. What do we have to do here, by the way? Just be at war with them, ideally before they die. Balk Temp. Oh, wow. I forgot about the attrition. That hurts quite a bit. And... Oh, right. You're not immune to attrition. Alright, I guess you're just gonna have to sit in Numos for a little bit and heal up. Hopefully Kugat doesn't arrive next turn. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have raised that. That was, I mean... Not like we could have done anything else, because we wanted to get it at tier 3 immediately. I'd also love to build this, but this may be a little bit too rich for our blood right now, and we need the public order to rise so that it can be built quickly rather than taking forever, so maybe we'll wait a little bit. And we got other stuff to build in the meantime. Khalida, I was gonna have you attack Volkmar, and I think now is gonna be a good time to do it, so let's move everybody else around, put them in their respective locations, and then get ready to fight. Psalmtic. Keep scouting, I guess. I don't see Kugath. Go out here, then. You're not providing public order anymore to where we need you, but if you can find the enemy armies, I would still think that it is fairly worth our time. You go find potential other trading partners, and we'll check Diplo in a second as well. Oh, I did want it to build that, I wanted to build that thing. Outpost, that's the one. So let's do that right now. Much as I'd hate to waste the money. And, ooh, you're under siege. I don't think they can win, though. The enemy, I said. Outpost in... No, not Foz Column. We'll build it directly here at the Gate of the Stars. Make it... What? You can't build anything at the Gate of Stars? What are you talking about? I can clearly see that this unlocks recruitment of terracotta automatons and Wuxing War Compass. Game, what are you talking about? Why does it say nothing? Maybe it's because it's under siege. Maybe... Well, if it's bugged, we can always move it. Really, it's the constructs I mostly... Well, constructs and drums and sky lanterns and grenade... Okay, there's a lot of Cathan stuff that works nicely with our stuff. Let's still do Gate of the Stars. And ally missions, hello. Vinny Drury, Oleg, and Leofric Gerard. Alright, let's go after you. Alright. Really too bad that Nikai can't be vassalized. I'm sad about it, but what can you do? Always having... Oh, the game always forcing us to kill Nikai in every campaign. Anyway, Khemri. Those upgrades are way too expensive for what they are. Right now. We just build and ruin the Hekaran Citadel here. Then every single unit type would be buildable at Khemri. We wouldn't thus then be able to build the Revered Mausoleum, which is an issue. You know what, I'll think about it. We've got other important stuff to build. Like you, Memorial Masons. Mortuary Sanctum? Yeah, go for it. Should we just level these? Yeah, go for it. Why not? And I guess we'll build the Crumbling Temple up here as well, and it's time to get rid of the Mortiferous Sanctuary. Oh, ooh, one turn. He almost got me. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I thought that we were in this, and just shut up. Ignore me. We could wake another king, but we can't get him on field. And this is the Ushabti guy, and we were intending to go for that as well. As soon as possible. Well, as soon as we can get the research up and running. Anyway, let's continue. Monoliths. Okay, that's too expensive right now. Everything other than those to tier 3, I think, is the way to go in terms of the construction. Yes to the tier 2s, but not to the tier 3s. Yes to the tier 3 for the money, and yes to the tier 3. Beautiful. Lower Ash River. We have, I'm going to say Pyramidion, no, anywhere. And Pyramidion as well, and Sphinx of Fa. I believe you are no longer in need of the Tower of Bone, because you no longer need the defenses, so we can replace it with a refurbished workshop. You were waiting to build up your Mastaba, or your higher level building, and we're good. Alright, skip, but not in turn. Two things. Diplomacy. What do we have here? Man-eaters want to trade, and they're fighting everybody. That's, I guess, a good way to piss everybody off for no reason. Defenders of the Great Plan want to trade. Good lord, 18th strength rank, 14 settlements. Solid work out of them. We trade with the Man-eaters? They're kind of a useless faction as an ally, and I'm willing to bet they can't be vassalized either. How much money will they give us for this? 5k, though. Yeah, whatever, why not? And the others don't want to be our vassals, we'll just, you know, kill them, as one does. Backbreakers. I wonder if we could leave the... Oh, I was about to say leave this place to them, but I think this is the only nearby tusks, and so we want it. Sorry, ogres. And I think nobody else. Huh, though they are close to vassalization, interestingly enough. Leofric's Fellowship, you're the one that declared war on us, like, last turn. What the heck are you doing? Mahrak and such are good. I wish there were more factions that we could trade with that we weren't planning to kill off, but what can you do? Even the ones we are trading with, some of them we're planning to either kill off or vassalize, so it is what it is. Anyway, Khalida, I guess since we have no time to construct other stuff, maybe we'll temporarily give you the Chosen of the Gods and then just delete them and give them to another army when needed. You don't have your snakes ready, and it's going to be a bit until we can upgrade everything here for, you know, snakering purposes. We could just do that. You know what? Start building this. It'll still be faster than waiting for this to get to tier 3. Anyway, Volkmar, you are at war with Backbreakers and Clan Claw. Let's see how much they're willing to offer us for the work here. Cultus Sigmar. Yeah, 2.6k. It's not so bad. We won't trade with you. There we go. Thanks for wiping out the Tzeentchins there, Volkmar. But it was always fated that you and Khalida clash. Alright, Volkmar himself is going to be a huge issue for us, but hopefully we can gun him down. Now, we have the banner of the... Oh, I was hoping to be able to put these on... okay. I was hoping to be able to put them on... So it's only infantry, basically. Basically, the only unit type that I wasn't intending to put them on. Alright, we'll put them on, I guess, piles of these archers since they're kind of fragile. In fact, maybe you two, because you're high rank and I'd like to keep you. Because Khalida should have some archers, even if they are kind of weak. Huh, does she actually buff these archers over horse archers? Because horse archers would be the same thing, but work better. I'll think about it. Either way, let's fight. Alright, just a vengeance. SF is the goddess of vengeance after all. I was hoping to hear the old bring me Neferata's head, but we'll get there. Anyway, here we go. Khalida, the warrior queen, is on field at last, together with her Venom Knights of SF and a regular unit of Necropolis Knights, which will be joined by other snakes later on. Just too bad we don't have access to the Sacral Serpents, and that she gets us her unique unit, but oh well. Not a big deal, we have other snakes to draw upon, and I believe, wait, yeah, she can, oh right, she gets a capstone ability in her unique line to summon at least one unit of Sacral Serpents, so we good. Anyway, here we have a Bone Giant, we have, well, frankly, a lot of different sort of range units available to us, so we're certainly going to make use of them. Might pop a second Bone Giant in here just because we can. See how much space in the army we have left. I don't think we'll have room to keep skeleton spears, but I guess we can use the units of skeleton archers kind of as a main line, or at least as units to potentially sacrifice to activate the Realm of Souls. Anyway, it looks like our enemy army is not going to move towards us, so we're going to send our unit of the Chosen of the Gods forward. Now, this is the Regiment of Renown of Ushabti with Great Bow, and they're not particularly great at single entities because these are the ones that have the split shot ability. And I wanted to get a few shots off with them, but it looks like the enemy army has realized that these guys are dangerous and has decided to move instead towards us. Fair enough. I'm gonna back them off immediately. And towards this hill where we're set up. Now, when I saw the battlefield, I got a little bit worried because the enemy is protected by all of these trees, but we got a nice little bit of a relatively open terrain up here, so we're just gonna sit back on this hill. And yeah, the corner of the map is all the way back there, just so that's fine. Nowhere near us, really, whereas we sort of got a quarter of a map remaining. But anyway, I digress. Chosen of the Gods going to start taking shots soon, and they're not the only ones, as Khalida starts slithering forward together with the rest of her Necropolis Knights. Maybe meet some enemy cav in battle. Alright, who's gonna show up here first? Alright, let's speed this up a little bit. Alright, there we go. Looks like we've got a unit of Wardens of the West and a unit of Pistoliers. Fair enough. And oh my lord, those Wardens of the West look tiny compared to the snake surfing Necropolis Knights there. And now, these are the anti-infantry variant, not the halberd variant, despite the fact that they have spears, but we'll get a few of those other variants later. Khalida has also caught the enemy unit of Pistoliers, and now they have Toxic Venom and Poison upon them as well. Wait, Toxic Venom? Oh, the Venom Knights of SF do Toxic Venom. Huh, I thought they did Lethal Poison instead. We got regular poison on you, Toxic Venom on you. We need a source of lethal poison here as well, which would be nice. I think Khalida's explosion ability does lethal poison. Yeah, it does. Alright, so the Venom Wave does that. Alright, so we got access to all the poisons together when we charge with the Venom Knights of SF, which are going to serve as Khalida's personal guard. Anyway, going to get a nice little Legionary barrage through some enemies as they move towards us. And of course, our range units have started to fire down on the enemy below, including the Chosen of the Gods. They're only here temporarily, as they will most likely be put in the Ushabti army, but I'm sure their split shots will come in handy at mincing a few of the enemy infantry. Ideally, enemy greatswords and handguns as the more threatening units. Yeah, the enemy have a heck of a long way to make their way up that hill as there we go, shots from the bone giant, and, well, everybody keep raining down on them. It's a good time for us at any rate. Oh, though the enemy is firing back as the mortar has finally gotten into range and is firing at our skeleton spears, but since the enemy cav is destroyed, we can take a little bit of a detour with the Necropolis Knights and make sure that they take out the mortars before looping back around. Enemy is starting to close the distance, so we probably have only a few more shots left with the Chosen of the Gods before we have to make their way past our line, such that they don't get caught. But we can slow down the enemy with a nice little Skullstorm again. Good job to the AI for actually skilling the Skullstorm with its hero. The enemy's going to hit us back with a vortex of its own, however, as Volkmar uses the Jade Griffin, I think, to get the banishment spell up and running, and is otherwise attempting to dodge fire from us. We are firing upon him with the Bone Giant and with a lot of our range units. He is unfortunately immune to contact effects, so the Sundering Armor, or Corrosion of Armor, done by our Blessed Legion of Fakth, so that they can't really apply that. Anyway, Volkmar has taken a massive amount of damage as he closes in, but this is the dangerous part, as we can no longer really fire at him that well, and he does have regeneration thanks to that Jade Griffin. So the basic units, whether they be archers or whether they be skeleton warriors, skeleton spears, are just plain not going to bring him down like this. Not to worry though, Khalida is moving on, and she's at 81 speed, which is okay. I'm going to use her Venom Staff to activate the little magic missiles. It'll clip a few units, but otherwise somewhat miss because it went uphill, and magic missiles are pretty unreliable in that regard. All good though. Volkmar is stuck, pinned by King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion with their pitiful 24 melee attack, but that's not why they're here. And just here to block the enemy off, and of course again we'll put them in another army. Just needed some temporary units. Khalida activates her Poison Wave and heads directly for Volkmar. And there we go, bringing him down with a swing from her Venom Staff. Beautiful. The bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and hey, we got the first level of the Realm of Souls active as well. In the background, our Venom Knights and the other Necropolis Knights have taken out one of the enemy range units and are looking to take out another as they head towards the Skullstorm here. And wouldn't you look at that, another range unit to obliterate. No problem at all. Yeah, these guys, because they will get construct healing, will also be a lot stronger once we have those necrotects in here, which we absolutely need. Alright, and it looks like with that, the enemy army is pretty much done. There are a couple of infantry units all the way back there now. One little unit of spears is still fighting us. I do believe a couple of spearmen, our own spearmen units, our skeleton spears, have either melted away or otherwise have taken severe damage and are in the process of melting away. I can see these two. But it's all good. Khalida, as Mr. Volkmar was already severely damaged and did not offer much of a duel, is now in the midst of a fight against the enemy Witch Hunter, which I actually enjoyed a fair bit when playing the Empire. I remember in Vanilla finding these heroes relatively useless, but they're fairly nice in SFO, especially with that Witch Hunter retinue that they suffer. It's a surprisingly good unit, despite the low unit numbers and the fact that it's a ranged unit with low unit numbers. An infantry unit with low unit numbers, that's right. But anyway, I digress. The battle with that is ours. The Witch Hunter will flee, and so will the rest of the army, as Khalida wins her debut battle, with many more to come, I'm sure. Alrighty, there we go. Solid fight. We had two of our skeletons melt away, but hardly a problem, as we'll be rebuilding them instantly, hopefully in one turn. Oh, don't tell me they gotta take 2 turns to rebuild. That'll be annoying. But I guess we'll see in a second. Otherwise, the enemy army is destroyed because they were in a settlement. Khalida got her debut battle and 15,000 damage. Pretty solid as well. The Venom Knights of Asap, of course, always do fantastic thanks to that, well, damage on them, but also that lethal poison, 47k damage and 435 kills. And the Chosen the Gods are amazing because of their sort of split shot ability, and just generally speaking, all the range guys did well. Lovely. We will occupy the place, and that will not complete this particular territory, but we're getting there. May as well grow the place as well. I wonder if we'll need defenses. Okay, so it is these guys that are occupying these territories. Ooh, I do see a desert region right there in the midst of Mahrak, or the City of Decay territory, though the problem there is that, well, it is a desert, it won't have a capital, so we wouldn't be able to get snacks. Anyway, defeated Volkmar the Grim, melee attack and defense for melee infantry units. Whoop-de-doo, Khalida, I don't think you're gonna take too much advantage of that. Anyway, wait, 17 out of 20. Alright, we'll build one skeleton. Or we could sit here and... wait, how many turns would it take to build a snake here? Out of curiosity, we can't build... oh, we can't build Spokal Stalkers as yet anyway. And we could build one Necropolis Knights here, but I guess until these buildings are constructed, it's kind of pointless, so Khalida might as well fight. Oh, well, she's doing that, and maybe, someday, acquire a Necrotech that is of the appropriate variety. Oh, well. All good, though. Is that all we gotta do this turn? Let's see. Fogtimus healing as needed. Panet. Maybe do a round of names. Let's do a round of names. Are these guys all named? Okay, no. We might as well all name all the chariots in Cetra's army. Glory Chasers. And Wheels on Wheels. For you. The Tomb Barks, one's named, 2 are not, so let's name you 2. Where do we have Tomb Barks here? How about Blessed Bark of Petra? And we've got the Boat of Charon. These guys are, well, these guys are already named. These guys don't need to be because they're going to be taken out, and everything other than the Casket is named. Casket is also going to be taken out of this army. And, oh, right, Cetra was going to attack this. I'm glad I looked here because I completely forgot. All right, let's do a couple more names and we'll fight with Cetra just to sort of spread out the fighting and the other things doing. Anyway, how about, I don't know, you 2? Well, let's name you 2 first. And then a couple of Necropolis Knights. Wait, do we have any in the list? Yes, we do. Sand Skimmers and Dune Surfers. There we go. Kind of on theme for both of them. I like it. Hierotitan. Wait, don't we have another Hierotitan somewhere? Probably do. Whatever. Effigy of the Imperishable. Oh. It doesn't fit. Imperishable effigy. There we go. Yeah, I remember that there was a character limit on the names of things. So what can you do? I guess we can name a couple of the Scorpions as well. They will be getting their first fight against Kugat. So we got Death from Below, Scorpion Joe. I like that they rhyme. Circuit Stinger, and you can be Senior Snips. Reminds me of Citizen Snips, but anyway. Senior Snips. There we go. Alright, good enough for now. I'm sure there was other stuff to be named, but that was a decent little pile. Anyway, Cetra. Since nobody else needs to do anything, I guess it's time for you to fight. Do we need to level these guys? Not really. I think we'll be fine. Pyrrhic victory, casualties high. We'll see about that. Go. Alrighty, here we go. All is sand indeed, and the orcs, the greenskins, will soon be buried beneath it. Here we go. Cetra will head towards them. Not enough of the enemy pump wagons in this army, I'd wager, to give him the same kind of entertainment of dune racing as he had in the very first episode. But I'm sure he'll still enjoy cutting down a few of the orcs here, especially since in that particular fight he obviously didn't have the Chariot of the Gods. Anyway, he moves on in. We're going to make sure to target other units with our casket so as not to take advantage of this. We are, however, going to move a little bit closer into the center of the enemy formation and pop off that Wrath of Petra, while Cetra cuts down a few of the enemy squigs. So it looks like a fair few of them are actually taking range fire from their own, which again does make sense, whether it be the greenskins or the Skaven. I certainly expect a lot of their own to die to their own fire. And they are all firing at Cetra, but he's pretty solidly resistant, and he's got that regen going as well. He's got 43 ward save, 30 physical, and 30 missile. Can pump those numbers up as we go, but he is looking pretty okay here. Otherwise, we were waiting for the Tomb Guard to arrive, as they're a little bit slow to move forward, and they, with their Tomb Barks in support, and of course the other Tomb Guard archers firing down on the enemy below, should make quick work of this little unit of Night Goblin fanatics. Not regular Night Goblins, no spinning loons. Well, that works out nicely. Cetra, in the meantime, has killed off most of these squigs and forced the other unit to rout, and is now heading towards whatever other units he can, charging downhill and into a unit of Orc boys. Not so much to fight down here as to try to get them to follow him up to where the rest of the fighting is, rather than standing back here. Gonna get a few more shots off with our Casket of Souls while we peel the chariots away from this portion of the fight, which I'd wager is going to be mostly infantry based, and moving our way uphill instead. And Cetra's returned once more, getting a couple of casts off, just trying to keep the heals up and also apply that Jaf's incantation of Cursed Blades as much as we can. Again, between that and Neru's, we always try to have as much of the sort of healing passive going as we possibly can. Since we don't have the Invocation of Nehek to rely upon, we gotta live with that instead. Anyway, Cetra will lead the charge or countercharge the enemy Orc Boar Boys, while the Night Goblin Archers, the first of the targets from our casket, will flee, and the second one will lose about 30% of their HP to the second volley. And you were wondering where the Khemri and War Sphinx and our Tomb Prince are. They can move to the other unit of Boar Boys, about on our right flank, I guess, just to block them off and keep them on the bridge and allow the chariots to run down enemy orcs, gobos, and basically not cavalry, as they can't fight the boar boys, even with their stats having grown very significantly over the course of the campaign. They're obviously upgraded a lot, but again, they're not supposed to be fighting chariots since they're too fragile for it. We also now do have that little summon of skeletons that we pop right into the middle of the enemy formation. They will disappear in 60 seconds anyway, so we might as well get a few of them killed for the activation of the Realm of Souls. Yeah, and this is why it feels like it would be best to have 2 Lich Priests in every single army, but A, we don't have the capacity for it, and it's a lot of room that they would take up, isn't it? I'm sure some armies will have to and make it easier to activate their own souls, but we shall see. It also thus feels like all arcane items that don't summon a free skeleton unit are useless, because you do want to get that access to the Realm of Souls. A free shop de-summon wherever you want is really, really good. Anyway, Cetra continues to lead his Tomb Guard against the Orc Boys and nasty Skulkers and whatever that are trying to hold him off, but we're not having too much in the way of problems there. The summoned unit of Skeleton Warriors is nearly done for, but the War Sphinx, the Tomb Prince, and the Chariots and whatnot continue their fight. Just trying to make sure that we force that unit of Boar Boys to rout, as the Orc Boys and the Gobos should be easy pickings for the Sphinx. The line of Petra has gotten the Elixir of Might bound ability from our Lich Priest, as well as the Jaf's incantation of Cursed Blades to make it cause bleed. Well, it's been doing a pretty good job. Not as many kills perhaps as some of the chariots, but I'm willing to wager it's done a lot more damage because it was fighting the Boar Boys and not orcs and gobos. I mean, orcs, but with boars, you know what I mean. Anyway, the battle is, by the looks of it, well, about 70-75% in our favor, not quite ours yet. Hey, it looks like a Snotling Pump Wagon unit is here after all to move down and face off against us. Only to probably be bitten apart by Cetra's horses, or headbutted apart. Depending on if he can actually reach those guys with his halberd. Then once again, is this... I think it's a garrison unit, so it wouldn't be a spiky roller, would it? Well, also you can't see the spiky roller in the front, so yeah, makes sense. Alrighty, well, I'm thankful to this faction. I'm sure they will come in very well. They already have come in very handy of getting us our first vassal, and a much needed one as well. And once again, considering the Cathans have a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm really hoping that the Necrotect's Restore will work on their constructs as well, which will make it pretty nice. But even if it doesn't, they should still work with ours. And like we could use Jet Lions, for example, to move with the Necro Sphinxes, or War Sphinxes. A little tiny baby lions, working with those. I'm already excited at the prospect. And any ground-holding armies can certainly use the war drums. A lot of aerial units available in the Cathan roster might work with our Carrion to give us a proper air force, which the Tomb Kings do kind of lack, especially since we don't get a Necrolith Bone Dragon in the roster for some reason. And while the Tomb Barks hover, they don't really fly. Anyway, the enemy has moved on in with the most threatening unit that they have in their pile of units, and it is the enemy giant. The War Sphinx has been keeping it essentially locked down for Cetra, who has peeled away from the Tomb Guard formation to move in and break the giant. Otherwise, the giant has done fairly heavy damage to the Tomb Prince, who will get a few more hits in, but we do got to be careful with him as he's going to be low HP after the battle. Although we will drop a few more heals on him. Fortunately, the giant is pretty much done for at this point, wavering and down to maybe 15% of his HP. A couple more of those Chariot of the Gods horses biting off the giant's toes. And it's going to start booking it on out of there, while the Sphinx can now switch to dealing with the orcs, and that also means that our chariots will once again be able to close the distance. Obviously, they couldn't be down here while the giant was hitting the units, because I'd wager a single hit from a giant will bring down one or two of those horses. Another Wrath of Petra from Cetra, and the orc biggins are pretty much done for. While the Tomb Guard quickly peel away to grab this minor supply location to destroy this tower. Once again, I really wish that we had damage stats on the towers. I'd really like to see what they do. Oh, this is a support tower. Enemy vigor loss per second. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Probably why this particular Bark of Petra is drained. Though I'd wager in that particular situation a shooting tower would have been a lot more devastating, since we were kind of locked in place for a while. Anyway, looks like a new fully healed or new unit of boar boys has come in with full HP, and we're going to have to deal with them as well. Going to countercharge them since they didn't seem to want to stop for Cetra or the line of Petra. And the heck? Cetra's wheels are burning upward, or possibly he's ascending to godhood now. I mean, he already basically thinks he's a god, so, you know. Or at the very least thinks he's on equal footing with the Nehekaran gods. Honestly, it looks kind of cool. Everybody from all over will know where Cetra is on the battlefield, because you can see the sort of massive Marvel skylight that he's got going on. And yeah, I think that would speak to his vanity. Anyway, the balance of power about 80-85% in our favor now. We've taken out those boar boys and are crossing both bridges at the same time on both sides of the battle, which is very nearly ours. Another charge from the single entities will take out the Night Gabos, while Cetra and co will charge into the next blob, leading again with that Wrath of Petra, which I'm sure is applying plenty of damage. Yeah, I think Cetra is really good on the Chariot of the Gods. He doesn't need to cycle charge and cause charging havoc with it, because between the constant uses of the Wrath of Petra and the Searing Flames effect and contact effect that he has, that makes him deal additional damage to any units, he'll still do plenty of work. And here come the rest of the chariots. No real numbers of boar boys to be concerned about, so these guys are pretty much done, while the Tomb Guard and Tomb Barks start taking care of the last of the enemy units on field. Or the last, units that aren't trying to book it on out of there. Still a fairly lengthy battle this time around. We've certainly had to work for this victory, cutting our way through all these orcs, but good thing. Especially since we'll be, once we're done with this orc faction and we peel away to fight Nurgle as we hunt Kugath, it'll probably be a while before we face off against orcs again. Admittedly, the Bloody Hands are somewhat nearby, but I believe we'll be bogged down fighting the lizards for a fair bit. Alright, and the Tombbarks have returned. And these three sticking together. Frankly, I probably should have kept one with the chariots to help out over on that side of the map, but I didn't bother. Cetra gets a quick charge in on the enemy war boss, doing about 500 damage with it, but mostly... Oh! Huh. His charge just stopped to the squigs, I take it? I wanted to move into the formation, or at least a little bit deeper into the formation, so that we could get a Wrath of Petra going, like... Like Cetra, or is it not on cooldown yet? Okay, eventual Wrath of Petra, but I guess it wasn't actually needed because just before he manages to cast it, the battle ends and is ours. Wait for it, wait for it. Wait for it, there it is. Since it was on cooldown, I didn't want to end the battle before the Wrath of Petra went off one last time. Alrighty, there we go. A nice fight, mostly just kind of screwing around for Cetra at least, especially with the regeneration and healing now that we have on him. He's not going to easily take damage. The chariots, well, actually, I was about to say, they are not these chariots, still managed to do fairly well. 16, 18, 17, and 14k damage. I wasn't expecting as much considering they were kind of, you know, sort of stuck in place for most of the battle due to being unable to maneuver within the minor settlement, but pretty solid with the Khemri drift, drifting all over the greenskins. For the boats, it's the bone boat for the, well, the line of Petra still alone in terms of the kitties that we have in this particular army, but that will soon change. Cascade does well as usual, and the Tomb Watchers vastly outdo the other Tomb Kings, or Tomb Guard rather, in this army. Nice. We'll take the place, though not for ourselves, but for our vassal to come in to take in the mountains. I think we can build in one turn. I mean, we could do the cinema mining pit at least, and then just transfer them that with the trade building. Though I imagine they'll build it themselves, wouldn't they? Actually, they didn't build it here, so no, not necessarily. Alright, fair enough. Just out of curiosity, wouldn't be willing to trade us Foz Column for this, would you? Foz Column for Blood Peak Stronghold. Minus 139, good lord. That's not gonna fly here. Yeah, this is worth a lot. Just out of curiosity, Foz Column 149. So to get that happening, we need to trade them. Ooh, Sphinx of Usak. Whoa, 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 shut up, Ruinous. We got bigger fish to fry. You lose one of the skelly boys. And goodbye. As in the basic trash skellies, and we're taking the Sphinx of Usak in. There we go. Now we have a Necro-Sphinx in the army as well, and something to do a little bit of that anti-large work where the chariots and other things cannot. Yeah. Bonus versus large 100. Pretty darn considerable. That'll make it incredibly effective against large targets. And someday we'll get you some Elite Tomb Guard as well, but for now, just go with what you got. Still have to make a delivery to him. But anyway, nice job, Cetra. We got a little bit of cash, and I guess we can build something, but let's also spend a few points. Cetra's got 2 at this point. He has Resurrect. We can, I guess, immediately go for Ancient Stone. Although, admittedly, this is basically, leadership is basically completely worthless, so who cares? And weapon strength is nice. Spell resistance again for the War Sphinxes and Necro Sphinxes and Higher Titans. Kind of meh. This is admittedly kind of a weirdly weak sort of... a weirdly weak sort of capstone. What about for here? Stone Sentinels. At least I get attack and charge out of this. Wait, this is just Necro Sphinxes. Where are War Sphinxes? Oh, War Sphinxes are part of the Master Charioteers tray. That makes sense. Well, that's why we were going to put 2 War Sphinxes in here. They can fire at range, after all. Alright, anyway, either way, we're getting Ancient Stone and we're getting Unfading Memory. There we go. Cetra, you now have 30. You're now at level 30. You need to start putting points in your fighty tree. Not that you haven't been, you know, perfectly capable of fighting regardless. Ooh, yes, Justice of Assyrian. I've been waiting for that as well. Got me excited. And we'll go immediately through to Keeper of Lore for that additional research and magics. Tomb Prince. Probably not going to stay in this army for too much longer, but Conqueror, and I'm going to say hard to hit. You, Necrotect. You guys really need to hard to hit because you're so fragile. Just want to see if there's anything else interesting here. Oh, we can buff the constructs in theory. I really wish that the two kitties weren't in different sort of portions of the tree. Considering how fragile, how insanely fragile the Necrotects are, I'm going to say maybe hard to hit might be the better pick here, at least at first. It's not like we desperately need the upgrades for the War Sphinx. It's pretty strong. Yeah, go for hard to hit. And we also should get We Are the Elite, because the missile resistance will be nice for the chariots, because they're insanely fragile and have no base missile resistance whatsoever, not out of their capstone. Basically, you can't get any missile resistance to the most fragile chariots in the game, which is kind of bizarre. They could really use it. And you'd think that, you know, undead should have some sort of base missile resistance. You know? An arrow going through your ribcage isn't going to do too much damage to you, this is what I'm getting at. But anyway, let's get you hard to hit and into Tomb Strike, sir. Starting to build these Tomb Princes up to be strong, and like I said, we will make an army with several Tomb Princes. Anyway, still can't find Kugath. Prince Psantic, keep on looking for him. Let's build whatever buildings we can that we want. Let's go for you. Mortuary Sanctum. Let's go for... where is this? Oh, yeah, right, the military territory. You're fine as you are. Kiev Sef2, yes. No, we can't build it. Alright, whatever. I'm just start from the top. I'm too lazy to look for more. Let's upgrade you. Golden Age Monument, and I think that's all we can do. Yes. Alright, skip, and turn. The Awakened destroyed. Alright, Nankai got to them before we did, which, you know, fair enough. And Proclamation of the 4th Dynasty, and come from sacking, looting, and construction reduction if slight. Short victory achieved. Capacity +1 for all heroes. Very nice. I don't think I've ever even checked these. Followers of Nagash, the Awakened, Drakenhof, Conclave, case we defeat the vampire guys. And what do we have here? Cal, come here. Why do we... Okay, sure. Sort of some of the really Hellworm Glacier. I don't see that happening, but a lot of the other stuff we're getting to eventually. Ensure that 5 of the following buildings have been constructed. Huh. I don't know where these 3 are. Wait, actually, no. I know where Tutankhamun is. That's no. Amenhetem is in Zandri, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, and Tutankhamun is here? No, this is far. Where the heck is... Wait. What's the missing one? King Far. No, that's in Numos. No, that's Tutankhamun. Wait, and this is Far. Yeah, I just saw it and then I immediately got confused. Alright, well, we know where those are. We're working on building them. In fact, we could, in the theory, build this one up right now. Though I did want to reduce... No, wait. We wait until this is 100% for the construction cost or time reduction. Absolutely necessary. Anyway, Bronze Gate. You don't have much, and we should probably push forward. We can reach you in one... No, we cannot. Alright, so just go here and get ready to move. And I guess we can upgrade the port at least. We gotta get more tomb barks after all. All bark, no, but oh my lord, okay, I'm naming one. I'm naming one myself, I just thought of that. Okay, who has a tomb bark that's actually in use right now? One of you two do. You have one. All bark. Oh, this isn't gonna fit, is it? Hey, there we go. Okay, now that unit is probably fated to die, because whenever I name units myself, they have a tendency to get, you know, wrecked by stuff. And unfortunately, Hakor can't reach Leo Frick. Ooh, Necrotech check. Come on. Okay, I'm so sick of these frenetic guys, and the intelligent guys, and the frenetic guys, and someday we'll get one of the ones we want. Goodbye. At some point, I'm just going to give up. But anyway, okay. I guess we're going to have to fight you with Walkoff, although I fear that you're just going to run away. We'll see in a second. Walkoff, Strength of the First Dynasty, putting your speed up to 42. Okay, you need more speed. Is there any... I mean, we could give you the banner of the... Oh, wait, no, actually, it's assigned unit. It probably can't give it to Lords. Let me just see here for a second. Banners. I want to see if Walut's order... Huh. Plus 25 speed. We could put that on all the Hawk Legion of Cetra and get them up to like 80 speed, couldn't we? Yes. Alright, well, like I said, there's a lot of cool items in here that we'll definitely want. And the armor and sundering attacks on units will be great as well. We just need to get a massive increase in canopic jars. Kind of similar to the dwarfs in their crafting, I guess. I don't dislike the frenzy either, but the discouraged effect is kind of meh, so kind of not often worth it on lords and heroes, but maybe. Maybe on tomb princes, just to get them frenzy. Anyway, I want to see if Walut's order can be given to heroes or only units. Would be nice. I expect it can't, but I want to test it. Ancillary is Walut's order. And just to double check, we can make as many of these as we want? Yes, we can. Fantastic. Dynastic Legends, we have all of these guys unlocked. We can grab another Necrotect or another Lich Priest. Oh, I did a Necrotect check, but I didn't do a Lich Priest check. What do we have here? Advisor, friendly... Oh, Frenzy for Lord. Oh, I kind of like that. Frenzy plus targeting range. I gave... Wait, I gave you a different guy, didn't I? I gave you the guy that was Mortuary Cultist. Cooldown for spells. You know what? I like the other guy better. We'll delete you. And then we'll pop you here. You're going to make that delivery to Cetra for his elites, but we'll grab the Lich Priest. And the Advisor for... Wait a second. Do you have Frenzy when you're on... Actually, no, you don't have Frenzy, and you never will have Frenzy, so yes. You're on a War Sphinx, and if you don't have Frenzy now, you never will, so yes, this works. This works well. Frenzy. I wish you were a higher level. Oh, did we delete a guy that had Keeper of Lore? I don't know. I don't know what level he was. Well, if we did, it's too late now. Let's just save the points. Actually, there's no point. Let's do that instead. I might have jumped the gun a little bit there. What's our research rate at, by the way? 243? Yeah, it's still pretty solid. A lot of these can be done in one turn, which is nice. Maybe we... Wait, this is... Increase our ranks for them. Let's at least get these two. What does Magical Loci do? Reduction for Spirit Leech and Shems for Hyro Titans. We don't need that yet, but we will. And then... Yeah. Well, we still got a lot of research to do, so yeah. And a lot of armies to build. And gotta keep on building. Anyway, Cetra, now you have the Sphinx. You can proceed... Oh, you're fully healed too. Proceed to the Granite Massif, which is their last territory. I wonder if they'll destroy themselves in an attempt to... Are you guys insane? You could have killed them easily. You're dying to attrition to this garbage little army by not sallying out. Please, AI, please, why are you screwing with me? Okay, I really strongly don't need the Cathians to die here because we need their units. Also, you know what? Cancel this. I changed my mind. We're going to build military structures here so we can trade this away. Hopefully hold on to it while we're at it. Also, Prince Psamtik, find Kugath. It's probably going to take a little bit until he repositions his armies from his fights at his northern border towards our main armies, which might give us time. We're also not at war with the lizards as yet, and if we can get Cetra to cross on over and get the plus 10 melee defense trait, I would really like that. Ooh, hello. These guys have taken this territory.
I have seen your heart.
It'd be a good time to kill them all. Without necessarily declaring war on the greenskins, eh? I mean, it's inevitable that we declare war on these guys. They're minus 100, or at least close to it. They'll just fight us anyway. Oh, we never named a new shop with great bows here. Alright, let's do that. While we're here, Sun Piercers. And how about, let's do 2. Silent Watchers. Alright, there we go. And also, I wanted to name one of these guys. The Skeleton Horse Archers have been doing really well, and I think they deserve it. Walkoff's Hunters. Gotta have an appropriate name. Alright, do we fight these Bretonnians or those Bretonnians? Well, as long as we're crushing Bretonnians, I'm sure everyone's happy. What do we want in terms of capacities here? I'm going to say Bone Giant. The least... we're least likely to build the Bone Giant buildings as compared to the other buildings because they offer no buffs to the Bone Giants, meaning, yeah, you get it. Anyway, you, evasion into Skullstorm, please. We can have you march on in, but then this guy will run. Against Walkoff, he might not, so let's give this a shot. Plus, I wanted to try out that, ability, or that, banner. Are you fighting these guys now? You running? You're not running. Can this be given to... Yes, it can be given to lords. Ooh. We can put this on the Cetra. We don't have the Banner of Swiftness as yet, but we can increase his speed. This puts you up to 51. I like it a lot. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of these banners. I love speed, I love stock, and... Ooh, wait. This works on constructs as well. Khallida's gonna need these. Oh, we're gonna need like dozens of these. There's a lot of banners we're going to need, to be perfectly honest. I might go. Alrighty, we will destroy indeed, and I'm sure Wakaf will also be pretty helpful in that regard now that he is pretty quick on his feet with 51 move speed, which we will get up further as well. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off as we always do. Spokral Stalkers and the Wakaf's Hunters as well as the other Skeleton Horse Archers in the lead to annoy the enemy cavalry and attempt to bait them into charging towards us and into the waiting halberds of the Sepulchral Stalkers. Again, the Knights Errant are damned if they do and damned if they don't. Soon to meet a failure of a crusade, as Cetra volts harder than anyone else. Ooh, there we go. Very nice shotgun blast into those poor mounted yeomen, dropping them down to 50% HP with a little bit of help from those horses. And it looks like the enemy has started to move towards us. Minus that mounted yeoman unit, which is pretty much done. A Skullstorm hits the enemy unit of a peasant bowman, and it looks like the enemy lord has arrived, bravely enough, to duel Wakaf. I love it. While the two duel, of course, the Spokral Stalkers will partially stand sentinel, but partially get their shots off into the enemy before backing up behind the lines of Tomb Guard, who are going to close the distance with the rest of the enemy. Alright, you better not run, Paladin. Hey, if you guys could not get in the way, there we go. Alright, they're gonna interfere with the duel very slightly, apparently, but it looks like the Paladin is at least willing to keep on fighting Wakaf with a few dozen men to attempt to help him out. Whether that works out well for him remains to be seen. Over on the flanks, the Skeleton Horse Archers have led away 2 units of infantry and have nearly destroyed them, while our Spokral Stalkers have peeled away to go after the enemy range units. A few shotgun blasts, and I'm sure that the archers and the mounted yeomen will be destroyed as well. Frankly, probably should have moved a little bit closer to ensure that fewer hits smash into the ground, but it looks like we're still getting plenty of shots on them from that single unit. Over all the way on the right flank, looks like one of the Sepulchral Stalkers, or rather one of the Skeleton Horse Archers, got caught by a charge from the Knights Errant. That's why you can't trust skirmish mode, but that's alright, as one of the Spokral Stalkers units moved in and cut down all those knights for damaging the Skeleton Horse Archers. Otherwise, it looks like the battle is very nearly ours. Another non-overcast Skullstorm hits a unit of a peasant bowman and forces it to rout. Wakaf has nearly won his duel and against the enemy lord, who has now moved into the formation, not so much by virtue of us attempting to surround him, but by virtue of the Tomb Guard moving towards fighting those Bretonnians. Or those men-at-arms, I should say. Looks like 1 paladin remains, 1 lord remains, and 1 peasant archer unit remains, and the battle is just about done. No, there's a little unit of men-at-arms here as well. Getting charged occasionally by the unit, by the chariot-riding Necrotect. Though I do still wish that you could have a Necrotect on a horse rather than a chariot. Again, it makes them pretty fragile, but on foot they're super slow, so... All good, though. Certainly not going to be an issue here as the enemy lord gets taken out by Wakaf, and with that, his army shatters, and the Crusade of Leofrix, whatever this faction is called, is over. Alrighty, there we go. One of our units of skeleton horse archers did take a fair bit of damage as it got charged, because you can never trust skirmish mode. Even if your units are faster than the enemies, they'll still somehow manage to get themselves caught. And I guess, as much as I love the 2.3k, we're probably better off healing this unit. Though if we can't reach the enemy army, it's 2.3k. Yeah, but then the auto-resolve will kill these guys, won't I? I don't want to get a deal with it. Screw it, just buying the souls. And just buying the souls, it'll be fine. Wonder where this little lizard army is going. Anyway, yeah, walk up. There is no way you're reaching anywhere else, so you can heal a teensy bit here, but otherwise proceed to the Salt Plane. Agents of the Moon mission successful, good. And do we need more than walk off here? I suppose if we turn to fight the lizards here, then we wouldn't, but I guess it depends on when we want to do so. We do need to attack Xandri. I'm trying to decide where to send Hawkware. You know what? I think I will make that decision and next time around, because this is probably going to be a pretty solid place to end the episode. Next time, then, we will be pushing northward to be fighting Kugath. We'll probably... might be a decent time to start moving towards the ogres as well. They have 5 territories, so not that much, but we will need to wait until the trade agreement's gone. Kugath has 11 territories. Actually, not as many as I thought, but while Cetra's busy with the last of the greenskins, and we may actually have to move here to bail these guys out, or they'll just die to attrition because the game is being silly, then it'll take some time for him to loop back around this way. I guess we'll figure that out. Anyway, lots more stuff to do, so stay tuned for more Cetra. We'll probably start the next episode off with a fight against the more Bretonnians here, and the debut fight for the Hyro Titans, as well as this army. Generally speaking, Panet's our first lord that we've had since the very start of the campaign, so it's only appropriate that he finally gets himself a proper force. Alright. More Cetra to come. Stay tuned. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments for the long episodes below. And thanks for watching.